Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
And this is How We Heard It. My name's Wayne Bledsoe, and this is
Chuck Campbell.
And with
John Baker.
And today's subject is, we brought this up, I think, last week and thought this is something we need to talk about because it's a kind of a phenomenon on YouTube where people will listen to a song that they've never heard before or an artist they've never heard before, and you get to watch them react to it.
Right.
And this is something that's really different. I mean, I kind of like this because I used to drag people, to listen to whatever I was excited about, drag them into the living room or the bedroom, depending on how old I was, and watch them react to a song.
Yeah.
And this is something where we can all react to it, and it's fun watching people react to something that you love. I mean, most of the time it is, unless they don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it when they don't like it, but otherwise, yeah. And you're right, it is kind of like the mixtape experience because it's like only I wouldn't do mixtapes because I was really cynical about them because people made fun of them all the time, and it's like I'm not going to put my whole heart and soul into these 12 songs and record them for you and hand them to you and expect you to feel as much love for them as I do, So I was like too cool for school for that kind of thing, really.
Well, see, I wasn't. I mean, my entire the experience of dating the woman I married, I don't know how many mixtapes I made for her.
Mm-hmm. Well, they worked.
Yeah, well,
for you.
Yeah, they did, and we liked a lot of the same things. And I have to tell you, there was one that she did for me that was like, Barry White got on my nerves at the time. So she found a song called Baby Blue Panties. Oh, honey, I love it when you put on your baby blue panties.
Oh, wow. Was Barry White saying that?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
And she made me a mixtape, and she would put a little bit of that in between every song.
Right. Well, I mean, in defense of that, you two, were remarkably well matched, and you were, and you were perfectly vibing with each other. But it's when people try to impress someone they don't really know that.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
That's like, no, don't do that. And this is kind of that experience in, like, the people who do these reaction videos. Some of them are good at it, and some of them are bad at it. But it's that shared experience. I mean, there's nothing like watching someone fall in love with something you already love. And that's what happens with these people. You'll see them. They've never heard, this song, and you've loved it for years, and they listen to it, and you can see it triggering with them, and it's just like this validation and connection, and it's a great feeling. And
it, beyond that, I'll have to tell you, I get a kick every once in a while. There's a performance of A Whiter Shade of Pale that Procol Harum recorded, and Gary Brooker was the only person left in the band by that point, but they used the Danish Symphony Orchestra in this choir. And that's kind of my touchstone for these things because I watch it to watch grown men cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the thing that I love so much about it is watching how powerful a piece of art is and seeing other people have that reaction that I have. But, watching these people who think, oh, well, I mean, they don't know what this is. They don't know what they're in for.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you watch their face try to hold back tears because they're so emotionally affected by a piece of music.
Yep.
And to me, that's just wonderful to watch.
Yep. I've seen people just start sobbing and everything. And you have to watch it. It's a bit of a shtick, right?
Oh, it is.
Because they're trying to get viewers. And a lot of times, I think they play up how little they know about the artist. Yeah. I mean, you'll hear them say, I don't believe I've ever listened to a Beatles song before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in fairness, like to people, young people today, there's a chance they really haven't listened to because the Beatles, as all-encompassing as they were, in the 60s, 70s, or whatever, that was a long damn time ago. And there have been, go ahead.
It was a long time ago, and they also don't license their music very much because it's so expensive to license Beatle music. Right. So you don't hear it there. I mean, you heard it in commercials for a while Michael Jackson had all the rights to their music.
Right.
But you know, that they are a little bit more distant than we would think.
And not only that, just decades and decades of other artists surfacing and releasing music. It's like the bandwidth, how much space. You know, there are just so many more artists now than there used to be who've had hits from the 80s, 90s, last year, you know. So there's so much more product out there. So it will kind of like squeeze in on their space as well. So there's a possibility that people don't know that much about the Beatles.
But when you're talking about manipulating, I mean, and one of my, I like to watch like young black people, mostly because I like checking out things that it's been sampled and watching them react to, oh, I know that.
Yeah, that's where that sound came from.
Right. I watched it the other night, Walk on the Wild Side.
Yeah.
And it was like a young black couple listening to this, and they're like, one of the guys is like, hey, that's a Tribe Called Quest. And it was like, oh, this is where this is from. And watching them react was fun because it's like, I mean.
And maybe you didn't know Tribe Called Quest had, you know, sampled this song. So it teaches you something, too, that you didn't know, you know.
But that's, to me, that's one of the fun things is watching people discover that, oh, there's a piece of this, there's more to this than I knew.
Right.
But I do think the manipulation part comes in when it's like young people going, oh, let me pretend I don't know anything about this old act so these old white guys like me can say, well, yeah, music was better back then.
That's right. You get one boomer to fall for it, and he's going to share it on his Facebook page to his boomer friends. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad the kids finally know the Rolling Stones, you know.
But you can tell people do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah.
They definitely pretend to know. I look for the honesty in the people.
Right.
So it'll be like, I've heard of the Beatles, you know, and I know a couple of their songs, but I'm really just not sure.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, it wasn't so. And, you know, people grow up in homes where you don't listen to the Beatles, you know. So it's their reference points and everything. So, but when they just act like I don't know who is this Phil McCarthy, or it's like, come on, you know, it's like
that's irritating.
I like it if they do a little bit of research, they own up to, you know, sometimes they'll say I've heard this song before, but I've never seen the video,
right?
You know, and sometimes they've never heard of the group, which is very feasible for a lot of the acts that they do. But the whole idea is you just watch the ones and you look for the people you trust and you look for these honest reactions. There's so many different types of them though that I can't stand.
Yeah, well,
and that's like if they pause it every 5 seconds, you know, because what they do is they'll play the video, and if they hear something and they want to hear it again, they'll pause it and they'll go back, you know, or if they want to check a lyric out or something like that. I don't like that. I don't like to over pause.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they're like singing along after saying they've never heard the song before. It's like, all right, I'm done with you right now because you obviously have. You do, or they're dancing or they're trying to get attention. Sometimes if you get groups of 3 or 4 people reacting, they'll all start talking and you don't even hear the song anymore.
Yeah.
So that I want their focus on the song, and I want their reactions to be honest.
Yeah.
And like some of the ones that I watch a lot of times, they will say some negative things because the gimmick is if you just say you love every song, then that's going to win over everyone else who loves that song, and then you're going to get the views and you're going to get shared, and you know, and more people will see your video and you'll be making money.
Well, see, I specifically started looking for ones that I knew people wouldn't like it. Like with the Beatles, I thought, well, you know, because we talked about, you'd mentioned the Beatles last time we were talking about this, and it's like, okay, I want to see if somebody react to Revolution Number 9.
Right.
Yeah. You know, universally the most hated Beatle track of all time.
Right.
And it's, you know, it's a sound collage. I actually like it. But there was, I found one reaction video, and all it was the guy at the end was like, what was that? Which was honest.
Yeah. Yeah. There was
but there's no video for that song.
No.
Okay, well, I mean, you were saying
no, but they just play. But
sometimes they just play the song. Play the music.
That's not as fun for me. I like it if there's some visual depiction too. But sometimes they'll just play the song, and you don't see a video anywhere.
Or it just has a picture of the album,
or just a picture of the album cover,
single, or whatever is on YouTube. Because there's so many things on YouTube. There's no actual video with it. I mean, it moves. It's just a picture of the artist.
Right. And these have been going on for many years, these reaction videos, and they've moved on beyond YouTube. TikTok, I think, is a really good platform that you'll hear reactions, and then you'll even get the music video reactions are a subset of reactions, like there are reactions to movies and to TV shows, to comedians. For some reason, comedian Bill Burr is real popular right now. People reacting to, because he was so outlandishly, non-woke or whatever. And you're talking about women and everything, and you'll have women reacting to it. And, usually they understand and think it's... But there are also reactions to other social media posts and reactions to reactions. So it can get real meta if you watch out. But the ones that I'm really only interested in is the music. The movie reactions never work because they usually have to cut the movie up because no one's going to sit there for 2 hours watching a couple of people on the couch reacting to a movie. Yeah,
the ones that kind of irritate me, and most of them kind of irritate me that I've seen is like, I'm a vocal coach, and this is how I react to this.
Yes, I was going to talk about and when you're talking about emotional and raw. Sometimes the vocal coach. There was I watched one of the ones. There's like half a dozen that I always go to first because there just seem to be more reactions to these particular songs. And one of them is "Zombie" by the Cranberries. There are tons of reactions to that one.
Right.
And I watched a vocal coach, and I also watched an opera singer react to it. And the vocal coach, she paused it. It took her over 30 minutes for this one pop song for her to get through it. And I kept watching because it was like a train wreck because she said, the lyrics of this song are really powerful. And she comes on like after she went through it all, and she said, y'all, I really had emotional reactions, and I didn't know whether to take that out and just get to the points of me talking or to leave that in there. And so she has this hodgepodge of her like, listen to how she does that little tremolo at the end of that line. And then she's like, and it's like just cutting back and forth of her sobbing, and then her talking about, that was really cute, the little, the little whoop whoop that she does that. And then, just like...
I watched the vocal coach react to a live performance of Tool, the song "Sober." And it was kind of funny just because she was just so serious, you know. And it was like, I like Tool, and I think Maynard's a good singer. Yeah. But trying to analyze what he's doing is like, to me, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's some great ones though. There are just some people who are just out of left field, and they're just made to do this. Yeah. They have this natural gift of holding your attention and saying things you don't expect, and maybe they're thought provoking or they're funny. And that's so, when you see that real, kind of approach to it, the fake ones who just come on there. Some people will promote like their channel, and they want you to like
immediately,
and then they have a book to sell. There was a psychologist that was selling a book of hers and everything, and just like selling so many other things. It's like, are you even doing a damn reaction video? But those, and I keep going back to those same faces. If I see someone that I've seen before, then I want to see them react to another video and another video. And that's the good thing. The first time you click on one of these YouTube videos, all of a sudden you get prompted for others. You get other reactions to that same song, or you get those same people reacting to other songs. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I was looking for people's bad reactions to things, I watched. There's one of these reaction folks who calls it her thing, every song sucks.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of you and guitar solos.
Yeah.
Because she listened to Frank Zappa's Uncle Remus, and you're watching her the whole time, and she's just not reacting. She just has no expression whatsoever. And she gets to the end of it, and she says, I can tell there's some musically interesting things, but this is just not for me.
Yes.
It was like, that's Chuck and guitar solos right there.
Yes, exactly. Well, I was going to say that there was I was watching the Purple Rain reactions, and person after person like, oh, wow, this is unbelievable. I had no idea Prince could play the guitar like that. It was like just over the top. And then there was this couple, I don't know if they were romantic, but a guy and a gal, and they were sitting there. About halfway through, he paused it, and he said, I feel largely underwhelmed by this. I was like, yes, you get it. Thank you. So, but anyway, again, if it resonates with you, then you'll be more likely to. And then I went and listened to, saw that same duo do a Raspberry Beret reaction because Prince is very popular in these two.
Yeah.
And they loved it. So it's like, okay, he's not anti-Prince. He was just anti that big, long, drawn-out guitar solo, and it's like, and after seeing all these people just doing somersaults over how it's the best song I've ever heard in my entire life, he's like, I'm largely underwhelmed.
Well, see, I mean, it's like you're with Prince. I'd like to watch Zappa just because the reactions are always going to be so different.
Yeah.
I watched a classical music guy, and he was, I think it was the Grand Wazoo, the last song on the album, the Grand Wazoo, and he's going, well, there's A minor, and that's, but it modulates to F sharp, and he's like, going through this stuff, and it's kind of interesting to hear it all. I mean, I can't tell that stuff,
right?
But it was interesting to watch him because he would go, yes, like this is what this is supposed to do, and then all of a sudden you get this look on his face like, well, I'm not sure how he got there.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I was talking a while ago about people after Kate Bush had Running Up That Hill resurfaced. People were doing her whole album, and she had them so baffled. And one of them was this scholarly guy who was breaking it all down, talking over it, and then he just got quiet, and he was just kind of staring, and she was like all over the map, and he just said, "Damn." And it's like, and there was some kid, I watched him do it too, and he was just like, I need to do more research on this before I can talk about it.
Well, it's also interesting to watch songs that were written at a certain time. I mean, like songs from the 60s. I mean, there was one of the Zappa things I watched was Trouble Coming Every Day, which is a song that is about, the protests in the 60s and the way black people were treated in the 60s. Yeah. And I watched a young black guy listen to it, and I wanted to see his reaction. And it goes, because Zappa has a line and it goes, I can't say that I wish I was black, but sometimes I sure wish I wasn't white. And watching the guy, because his eyes, his eyes kind of popped out like, dang.
Yeah.
And it was so surprising, I think, to him to hear that.
Yeah.
It was fun. My favorite group that I've watched as far as like reaction is called I don't know if they pronounce it Carter or Cartier. It's spelled Cartier, the Cartier family. Okay. And I think these guys are all brothers. It's like 4 guys.
Okay.
And
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's like what looks like the older 2 are sitting on each side every time, and the younger 2 are always in the background a little bit in the middle. And last night I watched their reaction to Whiter Shade of Pale. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool because one of the guys in the back, one of the younger guys, he just started tearing up.
Yeah.
And it was like nobody was saying anything about it. He wasn't saying anything about it. I don't think he made a single comment. But it was the most honest reaction. Yeah. And it was great because, these guys seem like nice guys. They seem like the sort of people you want to go out and have a beer with, and hang out with. Those are the ones that work.
Yeah. And I've seen legit tears spring at just the right moment, right. Just the right note, or just the right lyric, and that's one thing that Cranberry Zombie did for a lot of people too, because it's a depiction of these boys who were killed by the British troops who and all they had were sticks out in the street. One of them I think was 9 years old, you know, and when they get past, the desolate setting and everything, and then they really, Dolores O'Riordan, her vocals, they were comment on that and everything. And then when it sinks in why these little boys are dressed as like angels around her and everything, you can see there's just this somberness that kind of takes over some of the people who react. But I'll also say I think I've seen 2 different old dudes do Zombie by the Cranberries. And I turned them both off. One of them was like, and I'm not sure it wasn't the same guy. But,
right.
And that's the thing. I think the Zombie videos were getting a lot of traffic, so more and more people wanted to do it because they wanted to get in on that. And this one guy was like, oh, I don't know anything about this group, and I don't know anything about, what they're singing about, but here it is, and he's sitting there and he's not reacting, and then you see the boys in the street and the soldiers coming and attacking him, and he goes, and he said something like, there are two sides to every story. I don't know what this is supposed to be about. Kind of like, I don't mind these soldiers, killing this 9-year-old boy with a stick. And he was just like, it was just so aggressively stupid.
Right.
And he never addressed the song, the music, the lyrics, and just, I don't know much about this. It's like, why the hell are you doing a reaction video? And then there was another one. Yeah, and I was watching one today. Same thing. It was an old guy. He said, well, people have requested I review this, so here's Cranberry Zombie. And he sat there. I thought he died. He sat there not moving at all, and the video just played. The whole video just played, and he just sat there. And at one point, he wiped his lip. I thought, is he dead? And he didn't react to anything, so I turned him off, too. It's like, if you're not going to react, then
it's not a reaction.
It's not a it's a non-reaction video. But I've seen so many other people that really do just get kind of brought to, there's just there's just something about children killed in war,
right?
And people didn't know. I honestly, I sort of knew what the song was about, but until I was watching the reaction videos, I didn't know how heavy Zombie was. I didn't really know the depth of the lyrics and the true history that it was reflecting. So.
Well, it's interesting watching people react to lyrics because I think that people are more interested in the lyrics than I thought they would be. Mm-hmm. And I keep going back to Whiter Shade of Pale, but it's like, to me, it's like the best reaction videos you will ever see because people
I'll
are
have to
just
look at some of those.
Yeah, you'll have to watch. And just watch it by itself first because you'll be amazed at how great it is. It's a great song. That's
the Procol Harum version. Okay.
Yeah, and there was people who mentioned hearing Annie Lennox's version before they saw this.
Yeah,
and
I've heard her.
It's like I don't really know whose song this actually is. But she did a great version of it, but it's not like this. This is so much better than what they originally did. But there was this one guy in particular who was just obsessed with figuring out what the lyrics mean, which nobody has ever explained what the lyrics mean. I mean, it's like guy at a party, hooking up with a woman, and we don't know exactly what was wrong with, why she's a whiter shade of pale. But, it's never been explained. So watching people try to understand what these lyrics are and make sense of them was fun.
Yeah.
And I saw that in other videos, too, where it's like, I think this is about this, but I'm not sure. Yeah. And they look up the lyrics, and they look up the history of the band or the act.
Well, I can zero back. So these are also done for new videos. And last year, Chapel Roan was like the premium source of these reaction videos for new videos.
Interesting.
Because she had like half a dozen videos last year. And her lyrics are crazy wild. Yeah. And her videos are crazy wild. And, everything about her voice, she's very distinct and innovative. So people were like going to the well often with her. If they did one, you'd usually find they'd do half a dozen of her videos. And my favorite is the casual line when she goes... was it knee deep in the front seat and you're eating me?
Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah,
say this.
Me out. Is this casual now? And there's so many people who are kind of like, wait, what did you just say? Wait, what was that? And someone say, well, I'm surprised there aren't more song references to women's oral sex, and some people who are like really feeling the vibe, maybe it was a little too much for them, or other people are like, yeah, let's get down there, So
well, that Walk on the Wild Side video when it says, and she never lost her head even when she was given head.
Yeah,
it was funny watching these young people go, wait a minute, let's go back.
Yeah.
They just really say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, I think that's another one of the things is just watching generationally, watching the reaction to these to these songs. People didn't know what was in them.
Right. Well, and that's one thing about like Chapel Roan, you were seeing older people.
Right.
So you can see older people reacting to new stuff.
Yeah.
that catches them off guard. So it's really like a clearinghouse. It's like people of all walks of life and all ages, and all backgrounds can take turns listening to, reference points for each other. Yeah.
And a couple of people that I have watched, it was cool to me at the end where two different people I saw said, I really enjoy doing this, and I really appreciate you folks sending suggestions in, because you've suggested things that have become my favorite songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one couple that's on there I don't know if they're married or they're just, together, but he will play things for her that she hasn't heard, and she'll play things for him that he hasn't heard.
Is that Rob Squad Reactions?
No, but I know Rob Squad. I like Rob Squad.
Oh, my God. Yes. They're my favorites. Yeah. They're my absolute favorites. They're a married couple. Yeah. They got kids. And I love how honest they both are. I love how they're both upbeat and generally positive, but not, always positive. Like they did the B-52s. Rock Lobster, he couldn't handle it. He was like, I don't know what's going on there. And then they did like Rome or something, or Love Shack, and he got back into them and everything. Yeah. And she liked it. But, so they'll be honest if they have to, but they just have this good spirit about them. And Wayne, late December, they broke up. And they're not working it. I've been watching them for years. They have some of the biggest traffic numbers of anybody. Yeah. They have such a great spirit about them. And he's doing his own now by himself. And she's reacting to like TV shows or something like that. But I saw her farewell message, and I had no idea until I started researching this that they're not together now.
Oh, that's too bad. I think that they were probably the first reaction videos that I watched.
Yeah, they come up all the time on just about anything you ask, and she was genuinely devastated in her little farewell message. She's like, I want to thank you also for introducing me to so many great songs, and it's improved my life, and blah blah blah. And if I never see you again, it's like, Amber, you can't leave. And then I went to look at his, and I couldn't watch them with him by himself. I couldn't watch them without her sitting there.
One of the things that you were talking about when we were going back and forth in messages about what we were going to talk about this week, you brought up something about them being critics.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing that I hadn't really thought about, but that's what people are using for critics now. Whereas we used to write about this stuff in the paper, or people would write about it in magazines or things. Now everybody goes to reaction videos or things like that.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm down for it. Yeah. It's like as articulate as we are as writers, as articulate as we are as writers, there's something extra when you get the sound and you see physical, emotional reactions and the fact that they don't always, it's interesting. Everyone has their own style. Some of them don't pay that much attention to the video.
Right.
Some of them just forget about the lyrics because they're so caught up in the video. Yeah. And, so it's a very real place because everyone reacts to different things. But I think it's an improvement on just the old school, writing out words. And it would be so much easier if when we had started doing music reviews, if we just, for example, just sat and reviewed videos ourselves and just talked about it, because it's more concise. I love words and I love using words, and there's still something powerful about just using the power of words alone to express yourself. But gosh, it's hard to beat, having extra,
Well, I do think though that the thing that you miss, and some of them do it, but not many of them, is getting the history and having having a background where you can compare it to other things, and you can.
It's a great point. It's a great point because so many of these people, they're trying to keep it pure. Some of them, the better ones, they're trying to keep it pure by going in kind of blind.
Yeah, which is the best way for these.
It's the best way to do it, but then when they're just asking questions, it's like, oh, if you knew anything about this band, that's brother and sister. They're not a couple or something like that. So, they got to pick a line as to how much they're going to, learn about it before they talk about it.
And then a lot of times they'll go on their phone or their computer and they'll look at Wikipedia or something, and they'll be talking about, well, this guy must be this one and this must be this one. But it's like this was the founding band, and what you're hearing is like all different people.
Yes, yeah,
and
they're going with the original lineup of 5, and there's only one of the original 5 in the video. Yeah,
and they don't know anything about it, or they don't know any.
And they'll say stuff like, "Well, let me know in the comments, you know, if I'm missing something." So it's imperfect, that's for sure, and a lot goes, you know, into how much effort they're putting into getting the balance right. Yeah, and there's some that there was a guy I had to turn off today. I forget which one it was, but he was just like looking at his phone in dead silence, looking to find stuff, and so he was like searching stuff. It's like nobody wants to watch a video of some dude searching something on his phone without even music playing.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, just you got to edit it down. You got to energy and liven it up and give us something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is been great for, like, it's great for new things like this, which this is, to me, is a new thing. But also, I mean, you know, young artists and stuff. It'd be interesting if there were somebody out there who did kind of what we used to do, and young artists could send in their videos and have people react in real time to people who haven't been heard.
They probably are. I mean, that's kind of happening on TikTok, because people are posting, you know, TikTok's especially good for people to post, you know, their own music that they made, and there are people who are reacting to the TikTok videos. So that's what I was saying, is like reactions to social posts. So it's kind of happening. It's not like a structured environment or anything, but it's the same thing, and you can go viral that way. You can do a song that someone loves, and then someone else sees that got traffic, and it's just dominoes. Every time something works, you know, then it'll repeat. And also about the reacting to the video part instead of the song, that reminded me of, you know, I love the song, the Doja Cat song, Say So. And it's got a good video, and it's like got this retro style to it and everything. But there's this one segment where she's wearing a very tight, transparent dress. And I watched just for that part of the video when, you know, if it's all guys or even women or whatever, when they're watching and they're like, wait, and they're like looking at you can see through this dress, you know. So I love that little things like that.
And which one is this, Chuck? Okay,
Doja Cat.
Okay, I get my pen out.
But I like the extra element that brings to it. It's just good to be able to enjoy music, you know, in the format that it's out there, and to see other people enjoy it and feel a kinship with people that you might not have that much in common with, other than your love of music. And, you know, there's a whole other subset too of this, of where, and I'm sure you've seen these, but it's like teenagers react to 80s music, you know, and they'll just play songs from the 80s and see if these teenagers can guess, you know, the name and the song. And the interesting thing about it is a lot of these kids are pretty savvy, and they'll know these songs maybe better than you would expect. So you watch that, and then you see these people who are like 50 claiming they've never heard a Madonna song before.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff.
Dude, come on. You know, it's like these kids who could be your grandkids know the Madonna song, so come on.
Yeah, I don't believe any of those. I saw it. It's somebody trying to, you know, glom on to...
just trying to get some views.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. They usually get revealed by, you know, every video, of course, has how many views it's got.
Right.
And the things that don't have many views, you know, I can promise you, you know, you're probably not going to get much out of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, you know, a bunch of guys just riffing on each other, and they're just not paying attention. It's just like, I don't want to say disrespectful, but it's just so self, you know, interested and so narcissistic. It's like, I came here to see how you feel about this song, not to see you talk to each other, you know, all the way through it.
Well, and it's also something you just brought up a minute ago. I mean, the communal thing of you want to be with people who like what you like.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a, you know, it's sort of a stopgap to go into a concert. Because when you go to a concert, you're surrounded by people who love, some artist that you really love too,
and their dates.
Yeah, and their dates. Well, it's funny.
Might not be so into it.
One of the times I interviewed Adrian Belew, he came with King Crimson, which I love King Crimson, but I asked him about the crowds, and he goes, "Yeah, we see a few women in the crowd now."
Used to never be any.
Yeah, I mean, it was just usually like the girlfriends, and they're kind of sitting there. So, no, we have a few women
they
who really
know our
like
songs.
us. Yeah.
Well, that's good. And another thing about these videos is sometimes, like there was this young guy. It was the Lady Gaga video for 911, and I've mentioned that song before, and it's about her, addiction to anxiety pills, and about how she was in an accident, and she was out, and someone was really injured or killed or whatever. And this guy's obviously a big Lady Gaga fan, so it's this young guy totally into her and all that, and he starts watching the video, and just like right away, he's like, oh. This is based on an Armenian film, like 3 pomegranates and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yes, because it's in the desert. And when I first saw it, I thought, bull. He's researched this. He's trying to act like. But the more he went on and the more impassioned and crazy he was about it, I thought, this kid is just like this little genius who knows these weird art films and could just identify what Lady Gaga drew from and every little bit of it. And it's like anything that just flashed on the screen. He goes, oh, wait, what was that? What was that? She had a terrified look for half a second, and he's like going back on it. And so at first I was like, you're just faking this. And then it was like, you're real. This is, I don't know if I'm fascinated or scared or both, But
Have you watched any of the tribal people react to things?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure what country they're from or if they're from different countries, but they're Mideastern folks, and they look like they were, come from the caravans or something. I mean, these are tribal people. And I used to watch when they would react to different foods. And it was fun watching them react to, this is similar. I mean, you're watching it translated.
Right.
But this is similar to something that we have, and then they would just, it's fun watching people enjoy food. It's like taste something new and like really like it. I mean, the fried chicken one is the one I like the best. It's like watching these guys eat fried chicken. But I watched the other night them react to the video for Johnny Cash doing "Hurt."
Okay.
And they were explaining to these guys. I mean, there was one woman in that one. And they're
what do you mean tribal people?
I mean, like they're nomadic people from, like Northern Africa or someplace. They're they look
not
like
exposed to modern culture.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, I think they probably still live in these areas.
Okay.
But they have the caps on that look like they're probably Muslim or something. I'm not sure if they're Islamic.
Right.
But it's watching people who are from a totally different culture, who are not exposed that much to Western culture, and watching their honest reactions to like the food and stuff, it's fun. But with watching them react to Johnny Cash, they were telling him his history, and they were telling him Trent Reznor's history and giving details. And it was really kind of sweet watching them react just as, humans. And one of them saying, I can tell this man is very depressed. And, this is because he's depressed, and he should have done this. And they're saying, when they're talking about the kingdom of dirt in the line, it's like all my stuff is basically nothing. And they're explaining that Trent Reznor was addicted to heroin, and he had all this stuff, but it obviously didn't mean anything to him. And he goes, yes, this is something that people could do when they're in this state, and they're like giving advice to Johnny Cash and Trent Reznor on how to be happier. Wow! But it was cool watching it just because they were so serious, and they took this very seriously. Right. I mean, I'm sure they're making some money off this because these are very popular videos. Right. But they're trying to be as honest as they can.
I like that. It's like. I was going to say there's some songs that I keep going back to for reaction videos.
Yeah, me too.
2 of them for me are "Hey Jude" by the Beatles and "Imagine" by John Lennon.
Interesting.
Because those just wreck people. And I truly believe that, you know, a lot of times they'll kind of breeze in like, oh, something in the Beatles. I know a couple of Beatles songs. I'm not sure if I've heard this one or whatever, you know, and they hear Hey Jude, you know, and he just starts singing it. And it's the video, I think it was on Ed Sullivan or something, where it has some other like theme music from the show before.
Smothers Brothers. They premiered.
Was it the Smothers? And that's when the crowd came down and sang
for Hey Jude. Yeah,
okay.
I remember being a kid and watching that.
Wow.
And it was, you know, they come on, Tom Smothers comes on at the beginning, says, the Beatles sent us something, or actually, I think one of them, they did it 2 different weeks. One was Revolution, one was Hey Jude. And I think actually, like George Harrison actually showed up for one of those and said, you know, here's, you know, our new video. I can't remember what it said, but they couldn't be there live, so they sent the video.
Okay.
And it was like everybody in the country back then was watching it.
Yeah. Well,
It's like one big reaction video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I think it's such such an interesting concept because, you know, today you don't have videos where bands singing live and the entire crowd comes down and stands around and sings along with them, you know, holding hands, and people of all walks of life and different ages and races, you know, and they're all singing along. And it seems like in every case, too, you know, the protracted end is everybody's favorite part. You know, as much as they love, you know, the beauty, and Paul does a great job, you know, with you know, just few little flourishes to so you know it's live and everything. And then imagine, I mean, I've seen, you know, in these videos, people like a young person crying and saying, this is the most important song that's ever been recorded.
Wow.
You know, and she might be 20 years old and probably hasn't heard 95% of the songs out there, but she just knows from hearing it. You know, and the lyrics, you know, just, you know, when he's imagining the world without all these things that are, you know, so deleterious to mankind, you know, it's like when, you know, they hear those, they're like, whoa, you know, and it's just, so I do enjoy the fact that even though, you know, the Beatles are not being factored out, but they've been squeezed, you know, into tight spaces, that people can still go back that far before their grandparents' time sometimes and say, wow, this music was just magic, you know. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just sitting here listening to you guys talk about this, and I have had almost no experience watching reaction videos. If I have seen them, it's been by accident. Mm-hmm. I just never knew that this genre...
Get on it, man.
It's a thing.
I never knew that this genre even existed.
Yeah.
But I have 2 sort of tangential little things that are kind of related. One is there's a woman who goes by Ixi, I-X-I, and it's her looking into a camera, and she's got a keyboard in front of her. She's an amazing singer and an amazing musician, and she has a particular fondness for Radiohead and for Nine Inch Nails. And what she does is she plays the chords to the song, and she talks about how those chords make you feel.
Yeah.
And the psychological connection of this chord, and she's always like, ooh, and that's a major ninth. I love a major ninth, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And she's really good.
There are others that do that. They're music, and there are psychologists that do these too, reactions, and they.
Well, and that's what I'm really interested in is the way music and tones affect your psychology.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to check these out. You had another...
Yeah, well, it was just, I was reminded of this. I was on vacation with my wife and a group of friends, and one of them said, ooh, I love this song, and put this song, and said, John, what do you think of this song? And I was listening to it, and it was Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow, the Fleetwood Mac, but I was like, but this isn't Fleetwood Mac. And she said, no, this is the Glee version. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to the Glee version of someone else's song. I want to listen to the song.
Right.
But it's just kind of illustrates that there's a lot of people that they don't care if it's by the original artist. They just
as long as it's a good song.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes they improve it. I mean, like just like when we're talking about covers.
I don't think Glee improved.
No, I don't.
Fleetwood Mac.
Usually not.
But
there are a lot of Radiohead creep reaction videos, by the way. So if you,
which is like my least favorite.
Oh, okay.
Radiohead.
it's theirs too, apparently.
I know. I think so.
Yeah.
That was just before they ever even started adventuring in music. They were just trying to become a hit.
But when we're talking about things, I mean, we were talking about odd covers at some point, like the kids doing Lou Reed's "I'll Be Your Mirror," or the Velvet Underground song "I'll Be Your Mirror." I would rather hear them sing it than Lou Reed or, I mean, Nico singing on the original album.
Yeah.
But
We know
I'd
how
rather
you feel about her.
Yeah, but they're great. I love hearing them sing that. It is an improvement. I mean, I love Lou Reed, but
Have you learned anything about? I can give you an example of.
what?
So I noticed that Olivia Newton-John, Xanadu, had a lot of reactions. And
Oh,
I was like,
what's
why
that?
is that? Because that was like, it's from a cheesy movie,
Right.
and it's because it's so overwhelmingly joyful. And ELO is in there, so
Right.
Jeff Lynne's doing his part for it, and it's also, the video is from the movie, and the movie is like at the end of this video, at the end of this movie, where they created this fantastic disco club where everything's going on, and there are all these people on roller skates and doing all this stuff. And Olivia, she's stunning, and
Right.
she still is seen as stunning today, even though she was, like flat as a board or whatever. It wasn't the curvy model that is popular today. But what got me as a fan of the song,
Right.
Is like the first guy said something like, "That's the blonde girl from ABBA. That's the blonde girl from ABBA." I'm like, "No, you idiot." And then I was watching another one. Someone says, "I'm definitely feeling an ABBA vibe to this." What are you talking about? And then a third person said something about, like, 3 different videos. A third person said, "I'm really getting ABBA out of this." And I stopped and I listened. I was like, "Oh my God, it does sound like an ABBA song." And I had never put that together, but it's like Jeff Lynne and Olivia Newton-John equals ABBA. And somehow this ABBA song came out of Olivia Newton-John, and I had no idea. So have like young people or whatever made you aware of something that you hadn't thought of? Or
I don't think so. I don't think yet. I went to look for people's reaction to Yoko Ono, and there's surprisingly few. But
it's just too much to ask.
It is to some extent. But I was thinking that surely there's somebody out there that after all these years kind of gets her. But so far I haven't found that out. I mean, I haven't seen that on YouTube.
Right.
But
I've also seen like I was talking about, people who have original takes or whatever. I was watching it, Guns N' Roses, "Welcome to the Jungle,"
right.
because it was loved and hated back at the time. I was one of the lovers of the song,
And I didn't like it at
I didn't
all.
care about the band at all, but I loved that song.
Right.
And I wondered how young audiences were reacting to it. And there was this guy who's like this real, just kind of a modern metal type guy who's not anything like Guns N' Roses, and he was watching it, and it was making him laugh and just get up and walk circles in his room and all that stuff. And he was older. I mean, he was not older, but I mean, he was like an adult. He
Right.
had a big beard and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And at one point, Axl Rose is singing about "Bring you to your knees." And he goes, "What is that?" He's a British guy. He goes,
Yeah.
"What is it? Knees." And he was laughing and walking around going, knees. And by the third time Axl delivers that line, he's singing along to it.
Oh,
He's
that's
totally in on it. And then he also sees Slash, and he's like, "Who's the guy in the top hat? What's he doing?" But he ends up converting. So he starts out like, and a lot of people are like, "Whoa," just watching Axl Rose,
Right.
like, "Whoa, that guy's performing," So I appreciate just when they bring something to light that I've never noticed or hadn't thought about.
Well, one of the ones that I watch occasionally is, I think it's called Harris Beat. And it's a British guy. Looks like he's maybe 40, 40, something like that. But he has a lot more knowledgeable take on things. And he's not saying, well, I've never heard this, this group before.
Right.
But sometimes it'll be a song he's never heard before.
Right.
And I think he was one of the ones where I was watching The Mamas and the Papas Safe in My Garden, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's got some of those beautiful melody.
I should hear that.
Oh, my gosh, it's beautiful. But
What's the name again?
Safe in My Garden.
Okay.
And watching him react to, I'm pretty sure it was him that had the best reaction to it that I saw. But it was like, you can just see when like a layer of vocals come in with these harmonies, and it's just like. And then afterwards, he talks about it and how it made him feel, and he can compare it to different things. I like having somebody like that. He's a regular guy to go to that knows more and expresses more. And I mean, it's like you're talking about somebody talking about, the Beatles. I mean, Jeff Lynne and Olivia Newton-John making ABBA. He can do that sort of a thing because he's heard enough. He's not just like somebody coming in cold.
Right.
But
well, I mean, it can be an educated reasoning or everything, or it could just be a realization that never occurred to me because I was too close to all the pieces,
Yeah, I can see that.
And something else I've enjoyed is like some of the rap video reactions. I've noticed that Eminem. I found a lot of videos of like younger men and women of color listening to Eminem, and sometimes they'll say stuff like, "We didn't really listen to Eminem," and it's like, and the song "Without Me," one of his the na 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 na, and it's just this insane rap scheme of it's like breathless rapping all the way through it, and I've seen these young people like watching. It's like, holy God, and they're just like blown away because they just, for whatever reason, they were disregarding him, and just they'll stop and stop and stop, and they'll have to listen to this lyric and that lyric and that lyric, and it's, oh my God, how does he get so much in there, And so it's good to see an artist, maybe resonate a little bit with a group that initially, was predisposed not to pay much attention.
Well, I think that's one of the best things about all these videos in general is that they're being introduced to somebody that, ideally they have not heard, or a song they have not heard.
Right.
And you're watching them kind of have revelations.
Right. Yeah, and maybe they've not heard them just because they've not heard them. Yeah. And maybe they've not heard them just because they were like, that's not for me, I don't want to hear that. But then, and it's cool. It's always cool when there's, I don't like it when there are like 4 or 5 people because that's just too damn many because you can't get that many people to shut up because, I can't stand it when they're all talking completely over all of it.
You need to have some quieter people, like the Cartier family or whatever.
Yeah, quieter people, or just keep it to like 2 people, 3 people tops. But I like it when like one of them, when they don't have the same take, and one of them maybe sees something the other one didn't see, and they have conversation about it.
Just like real people.
Just like real people, yeah.
Do you all find that, for me, when I listen to music, when I hear like really lots of vocal harmonies, that really is a very emotional sound to me?
Yes.
And do you feel like that? The
that
reactions
comes through. That comes through all the time.
I mean, like listening to some Beach Boys stuff where those harmonies are just so lush and complex that just makes you feel something.
Yeah. There are 2 things that'll make people like really feel something in general, and that's the harmonies or the melodies. I mean the lyrics. So if a lyric hits home, but definitely harmonies. Just like there's no way to put it in words. It's just like this moment, and it just happens, and you can't explain it. But it's just like, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, that's gorgeous," and like the ones talking about the Rob Squad thing. Talking about not liking Rock Lobster, but when they hear the harmonies that the 2 women have in other songs, it's just like, wow, nobody sounds like, or the 2 women of ABBA, or of course the Beach Boys, the grandfathers of harmonies and everything. It's like you could just see it just kind of sweeping over, like, oh wow, and there's not much more you can say than just like, oh wow,
I need to watch some reaction videos to God Only Knows.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's one of those.
Such a beautiful song.
Yeah. I mean, and how can you not be touched by it?
Yeah. It's just such a simple, pointed, and then beautiful harmonies.
And easy to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't have to analyze the lyrics. They can actually just get them.
You're not worried about someone, on the front
Van Dyke
seat.
Parks.
Yeah. Whom I love.
Oh, yeah.
The who?
Van Dyke Parks.
And he was a lyricist for some of the later Stranger Beach Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a lyricist for Smile, which never got finished.
Well, it did.
Well, it did.
Brian finished it.
Like 30, 40 years later, however
Yeah.
long it was. And it's great.
Yeah, I went and saw that concert in Toronto, and at one point they had 19 people on stage, all of them singing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And people up there eating carrots, eating vegetables.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people, to wrap this up, I guess, and what would you say to recommend people, like John here?
Yeah, I'm a
I'm
a reaction video virgin.
Yeah, well, I would suggest that you you just type in a song, like type in "God Only Knows" reaction video, and you'll see, and just start sampling what pops up, and there'll be some you're like, oh, they're idiots. There's always some that are just irritating because they're so self-promoting or they're just stupid, you know. But it's just it really is like giving someone a mixtape and they love it. It's just like that connection and just to see someone that you don't even know have that moment of awareness and of something you love.
And it's very easy to tell the people who actually really love music as opposed to the ones who are just like, let's see if I can make some money off this.
Yeah, I'm here to make a video. So.
Yeah.
So people do make money.
Yeah,
making reaction videos.
Yeah, I mean, you can see some of these. I think the Rob Squad, I know they've hit millions of views on a reaction video, and it's just the two of them. Normally, the video is played on a smaller frame. I think that's for a copyright something or another. So the main frame is them sitting in the studio, and then
watching it.
You have a little square where you can see the video, but it's not the main image.
And sometimes they'll talk about how many times that video has been viewed. Like I was telling you, I had like 7 different reaction videos to Wider Shade of Pale, and it was interesting because one of them would say, "Well, this one's been viewed 100 million times, so it must be something."
Right.
And then the next one says, "Well, this has been viewed 120 million times." So it's like, so those reaction videos are probably feeding all these different, views for those videos.
Yeah.
Crazy world we live in.
It is.
But it is a good pointer to see the people who make the reaction videos. It is a good start to pick ones that have substantial views because the others, unless it's a new one, the others with few views, they're usually negative or dumb or both.
Yeah, but if you pick out your favorite, just look at reaction videos to 5 of your very favorite songs, and you'll wind up probably feeling good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I can use as much of that as I can get.
Yeah.
And there's just a real charm to the whole thing.
All right.
All right.
We ready for
Is it
recommendations?
recommendation time?
I think so.
All right. Go for it.
Well, I'll recommend a movie right off.
Okay.
I saw Night Bitch.
Okay.
Which
I don't
is
know this.
You don't know about this?
No.
Amy Adams plays a young mom. She's got a 2-year-old, and it's one of the gimmicks that they use in it, which is one of my favorite things for people to do, is they will show her what she wants to say to people or how she wants to react. Mm-hmm. You'll see that, and then you'll see how she actually reacted.
Oh, wow.
But the premise of this movie is she's like a frustrated artist. She's kind of given up everything to be a stay-at-home mom for a while her husband goes out and makes, the big bucks. And she decides that she may be turning into a dog at night.
Oh, wow. I like that.
And there's all this sort of
that's
mythology.
That's the Night Bitch.
That's the Night Bitch.
Okay. So I don't have to feel all
Where do we see this?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's also been in theaters too. There's been a theatrical release with it too, I think. But it is loads of fun.
Okay. So it's a comedy.
It is a very pointed comedy.
Okay.
Well, if you watch the previews,
and you said Amy Adams.
Amy Adams is the main.
I like her.
Yeah, and if you watch the previews, you're going to think it's a little bit more of a horror type film, or a little bit, or more fantasy. But it's basically making a point of how women how they're treated differently and how they change when they have kids and what the expectations are of them. And it's a reaction by this woman. It's really funny. It's funny and it has a point. Sarah and I watched it together, and she was not really excited about watching it because she thought it was going to be just kind of she thought it was going to be a horror film. And I knew a little more about what it was going to be, and she came out loving it. And I thought I really liked it a lot.
Sounds like my cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun. And there's, snooty artists in it that are all, self-satisfied that you just want to smack the crap out of.
Yeah.
And her poor husband, it's like for a while you're pissed off at him, but then he's not presented as like a villain. He's like presented as somebody that really didn't understand.
Just a real guy who doesn't get it.
Yeah, and I just think it's a pretty honest film. And anybody that I'm not sure if you're a pregnant woman, I don't know that this is a movie you want to watch while you're pregnant.
Okay.
But after you've had a kid, and especially if you're sacrificing your work to stay home, you're going to relate. I have a feeling.
Okay.
I can't remember what the director's name is, but I think she wrote it and directed it. But it's a lot of fun.
All right.
I have been watching, it's not a movie, it's a TV show, and it's sci-fi, and I know you guys don't much care for sci-fi.
I like sci-fi.
It's on Apple TV, and it's called Silo, and it's about a community of people, about 10,000 people who live in a silo that's buried presumably on Earth, because there are some Earth artifacts in here. And there's a central spiral staircase that goes up through the middle of the thing, and that's how you get around. And it's definitely an exploration of sort of class consciousness, because the people that live up on the top, they're the mayor and the police chief and the high mucky mucks. And the engineers and the people that keep the machine running are the ones that are the dirty people that live down in the bottom. And then there's judicial and medical and all these different divisions. And
futuristic then, or is it?
I don't know. I guess so.
Okay.
Because part of the thing is that some people have been found with artifacts that are illegal. And like one of them is a Pez dispenser, and they can't figure out what it is. They think it's some kind of weapon, or they don't know what it is. But
it was a weapon when I was a kid.
The candy ain't worth eating, I can tell you that.
The first episode has Rashida Jones in it, but she gets killed pretty quickly. Okay. So it's a cameo. But then Tim Robbins is in it, and he plays kind of a minor character, but he's pretty good. Yeah. But the main character is a woman who was an engineer, and the former sheriff has met her and got to know her, and, well, I don't want to give any more away, but when he exits the job, he says she should be the new sheriff, and she doesn't understand why, but she's a real take charge, get things done kind of person. And so far, it's really good. I've watched 5 or 6 episodes.
All right, cool.
It's called Silo. It's on Apple Music, or Apple TV. I'm sorry.
Well, cool. I've just got trash here for a movie, just because sometimes I like really dumb, bad comedies.
Yeah.
But 2004's Euro Trip. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I don't really.
It's these 4 young Americans. I think they're all going to college, and one of them has been talking to what he believes is a guy in Germany named, he thinks it's Mike. And then Mike finally says that, he has feelings for this guy. But then he finds out, so he kind of shuts him off, and then he finds out that Mike is actually Mika, and it's this beautiful German girl. So they all go to Europe, and they have just these raunchy adventures, everything from, absinthe kind of binge in an Eastern Europe country, and some stuff that wouldn't fly today, like a molesting Italian dude and everything. But it's funny because it's so weird, and it really skewers like European cultures from country to country, and it's just got so much over the top kind of goofy things. And I realized a lot of people didn't see it. I loved it. None of the people in there are particularly well known, but Matt Damon has an amazing cameo in it too. Huh. So it's just Euro Trip, just a European-based well, they're kind of young adults, really. So anyway, but it's like sometimes I just like, it's if you want to unplug your brain and just sit and laugh at silly stuff, there it is.
Huh. Cool. Well, musically, I'm going to recommend something really odd for most
Okay.
people. It's Gavin Byers, who is or Bryars, not Byers, Bryars, classical composer and very minimalistic. But in 1975, he released an album on Brian Eno's label, and the album is called "Jesus' Blood Never Failed Me Yet."
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is and
Can we explain that?
yep. He recorded a guy on the street, just a street person, who was singing this line over and over. And he recorded it, and he made it into tape loops. And then he composed this very slow, beautiful piece to go along with it. It's 25 minutes long, that piece, the original. He later did it with Tom Waits, and Tom Waits does a good version too, and it's longer. But the original is the one that I would suggest, which came out like 75. Like I said, it was written, I think, in 71. But if you put it on and you just kind of get yourself prepared that this is going to be a long piece and it's very, very slow moving, it becomes, at least for me, extremely emotional. And I can't really explain why. It's just so pretty and it builds so slowly. And something about hearing this old voice, this old craggy voice, sing this line over and over, but it's like Zen.
It's those tones you were talking about.
It
Tones will just trigger an emotional reaction without really understanding.
You don't have to have the literal meaning. It's just the
Right.
the musical
Just
meaning.
the response.
And, you know, I'm agnostic, bordering on atheist, but the passion in this old man's voice, and he obviously believes what he's singing. He's you get it. At least I do. But be prepared. It's not like a pop hit. It's
It doesn't have a guitar solo.
it does not have a
okay.
guitar solo.
Plus.
It's all. I think it's nearly all strings.
Okay.
But it's beautiful, and if you can kind of turn off it, I've used it to help me get my mind in a better place before. But I think it's something that if you get that sort of thing, you'll love it.
Okay. All right.
I have been, so a couple of weeks back, my musical recommendation was a band called Second Grade.
Right.
And I was listening to that, and when the album I was listening to finished and it just started playing other things, it came up with this other band called Young Gov. Young, Y-O-U-N-G, and Gov, G-U-V. And it's just as jangly and happy and poppy and vocal harmonies as it could be. And if you like pop music, I don't know how you're going to dislike it.
Huh.
They've got 4 albums starting in 2015. Their most recent one is 2022.
Okay.
So they're still apparently a thing.
Up and at 'em. Okay.
Young Gov. I really have enjoyed it. I've been listening to them all day long.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to go back to 1988 for my music
This
recommendation.
is a long way back for you.
This is a very long way back for me, and it's just a group that just seemed to be everywhere back then and always talked about, and everybody knew everything about them. And it seems like they've been largely forgotten, and that's the Cocteau Twins.
Yeah.
Their album Blue Bell Knoll came out in 1988 on the 4AD label. Cocteau Twins, Cocteau is C-O-C-T-E-A-U, and then Blue Bell Knoll, K-N-O-L-L. And they're a Scottish band, trio, and I'm sure you remember them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember
This
it too.
particular album I would just put on and just let it play, which is something I was rarely known to do.
Isn't Elizabeth Fraser the singer?
Yes, Elizabeth
Got
Fraser
an amazing voice.
was just, yes, it's her amazing voice. And I love all the songs on there. I love the title track and everything. But there's a song called For Phoebe Still a Baby. I don't know if you remember that one. But it's like this lullaby, and it's just indescribely gorgeous and pretty and sedate, and it's like a lullaby. And of course, the soundscape is very, very pop oriented, but it's dream pop. It's Scottish dream pop,
Yeah.
and I could always count on them to just trip my brain to a nice, happy place whenever I put them on. And Elizabeth Fraser, she was a magical singer.
She's no longer with us?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
We're speaking of her in the past tense.
I'm sorry. I think the group definitely disbanded, but
Yeah.
so I don't know if she's still doing stuff. But she, she was kind of a, I don't know, like Anya was so well known for her overdubs and everything, but Elizabeth Fraser just had this. She was a soprano, and that voice could just go, through the roof.
I hadn't listened to them in a while.
Yeah, check them out. They had other great albums, but that was the one that I could just listen to beginning to end without even thinking about it.
It's funny that all three of us have recommended something that's good for your mental health.
Yeah, I guess it's been a long winter.
It's been a long winter.
I don't know when this is going to come out.
Yeah,
We're in the depth of winter right now.
Yeah, well, it's going to be, I think it's scheduled for late February, so we'll be ready for spring at that point.
No kidding.
Usually by the end of February, you start to think there's hope.
Yeah.
Because you get at least one good spring day every once in a while.
The sun's out longer. You get those little crocus blooming first, and the dandelions that normally you would hate, but you're just so happy to see that first dandelion,
I was looking through my pictures on my phone, and last January 14th, I took a picture as I was pulling my car into the garage of a daffodil coming up on January 14th.
Yes.
And so that always makes me go, oh. And so I kept looking through my pictures, and January 11th, the year before that, I took a picture of that same daffodil.
I've got some little crocus in the back of my yard, and they usually are like a first week of February type thing.
So we should see daffodils sometime soon.
Yeah. Well, all right. Whatever time of year it is for you all, I hope you're enjoying it. And we've enjoyed this. Yeah. Reaction videos, check them out. And we'll have something else for you to check out next week. Right?
Yeah.
We'll be back.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, movies, art, culture, whatever it is that's on their mind. How We Heard It was recorded at the Arbor Studio in Knoxville, Tennessee by me, John Baker. How We Heard It is a Cozy Planet production. If listening to this podcast has given you a burning sensation, then we recommend you sit in a hot tub until your symptoms fade away. If you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, or even me, you can send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. So thank you for listening, and come on back and we'll have another episode for you next week.